Thanks for coming out, everybody. I really appreciate it. My name is Mike Patterson. I have a YouTube channel, Sasquatch Ontario, and I have been interacting with a family of Sasquatch for the last 12 years. It started back in 2012, late 2012. I was invited to a property. I don't want to give the location, but first I was invited to interview the property owner, and after that they invited me out to this property, and I had about 4 years experience at that point. So I'm just diving right into the good stuff here. Prior to that, I had, like I said, 4 years experience. That I think it was my connection to nature and the time I spent in nature that I was being watched, and they put me on this journey that I'm on today. And I got invited to investigate a property that was suspected for about 5 years that they had Sasquatch presence. So there was the final straw was the father, Bill, who's no longer with us, but Bill was there for many of the visits for the first bunch of years. And it was one morning he woke up, he sat up in bed, and there was a Sasquatch with his back to him, standing basically outside the window. So he sat up in bed. It was early in the morning, and he got up, went to the bathroom, did his thing, and he come back and he was gone. And it was basically after that, that was the final thing that caused Dwayne, the property owner at the time, his son, who I have been working with now since basically 2012. Dwayne and I have been making visits. Every visit we have made, that we have had their presence. We've had activity on 100% of the visits since day one. And when I went in there the first time, they called me in, and it was the only time I got to see the eye glow. It's something, when you experience it, it made me turn around, go back to the cottage, and I slept on the couch that first night. Basically, I wasn't ready for that. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning that I had taken a walk up the road, and my tent was set up. I veered off to go into the woods to my tent, and there was this bright orange glowing eye staring at me, I think peeking out from behind a tree. It looked like it had a light turned on in its head. So that I'd never seen anything like that before, so that freaked me out, right? And I went back, slept in the cottage, and I guess they weren't too impressed. This Sasquatch researcher guy didn't have the guts to do the tent thing that night. But that's the only time that happened, just that one time. And since then, there was a lot of fear at the beginning with both of us, and I pushed through that fear. When you're looking for it and you find it and it shows up, you either pack it in because you're too afraid, or you push through the fear, and I obviously pushed through that fear. So over the years, things have developed where at first it was mainly one young male individual who we found out his name is Nefertia, call him Nef. And Nef is quite the character. He's not necessarily backed off in more recent years. He's still there with us during the visits. I heard his voice last Saturday call my name at one point when I was outside, which I recorded. So I basically run audio recorder microphones through my sunroof in my vehicle, and I record all night. Sometimes I use multiple recorders placed in different locations, and I will, I keep an eye on my batteries, and I have recorded every visit since day one, so I have quite a substantial library built up of audio files. And in those files, I have listened to so much audio. It's taught me their behavior, It's taught me their sounds, how they interact with humans, how they show up. They are interdimensional, for lack of a better term. I don't understand, obviously, how they do what they do, but they can show up literally anywhere. I've captured vocals in my vehicle. I've captured vocals indoors in the cottage. I've had them happen at home as well. This stuff will follow you once you connect to them. It's something that they call it the hitchhiker effect, and I'm cool with it. Like, I have activity at home. It was just the other night, actually. I was sitting at home on the couch, sliding glass doors right there, and I get a bang on the door, on the glass door. There's nothing there, and there's other witnesses in the house, with these bangs in the door. There's been vocals. It's basically paranormal activity. Sasquatch have an understanding of consciousness that is incomprehensible, the level of understanding that they have. They can do things that most humans would say is impossible. When I first got involved in this subject and I started putting this stuff out, I took a lot of ridicule. I still do. I've been harassed and I've been stalked, but I just keep pushing forward. I keep putting this stuff out there, and slowly this subject has evolved. And it evolved extensively since I first started. It's basically doors wide open at this point. People are a lot more accepting that they do have abilities. I have learned from them through written communication that they have, or that they predate humans from what they say, so they're before Homo sapien. And I believe they are the original Earth humans, from what I've gathered. I could be wrong in that, but these are responses that I've gotten from them through questions. And so typically our routine when Dwayne and I are on location, we will, we go there. At this point, I used to gift up in the forest. We give them gifts and that. And at this point, all the gifting is done indoors on the kitchen counter. I just leave my gift there, and the activity happens throughout the night, periodically, indoors and out. There's a lot of physical contact incidents that have happened. I've had my foot grabbed under the table, which, they're always given these little funny things to show their abilities, right? It's a head scratcher. It's constant that way. They have a understanding of consciousness that they know how to vocalize inside your head, where it's loud and clear, like you're listening to me right now. They can do things, like I said, that most humans would say is impossible, right? I usually have a PowerPoint presentation that I do, but they didn't have a setup for that. So what I've done is I've loaded a bunch of audio files onto a stick here that I'm gonna play some of this for you. And the stuff that I'm talking about, I'm so far past the mentality of just a flesh and blood being that hides in the woods, and people going out and putting up pheromone chips and trail cams, and there's quite a few researchers involved in the subject that are far past this at this point. Science is still, they're stuck, basically. The progress of science is extremely slow in this subject. So people like myself who are speaking out and sharing our experiences, it's those of us like myself that are really bringing the truth of this to the forefront. So there is I think roughly maybe a dozen members in this family. We don't know the exact number yet. I see other researchers out there saying, oh, there's 5, there's this, that, and in whatever situation they're involved in. I don't know how they know those numbers, because what we're dealing with basically stays invisible for the most part. they have shown us that where they reside, typically for the most part, in whatever realm, whatever dimension that is, they're safe. They're safe from humans. They're safe from what other non-human forces are out trying to basically wipe them out. There are military that are trying to, they want them gone, right? Because they are a threat. You know, there is a war on human consciousness, and Sasquatch are something that really expand our consciousness, especially when you have experiences and you make contact with them. It just changes your whole world. You know, I've been put on this journey. If you told me before this started that I'd be doing this, interacting with the family of Sasquatch, I would have thought you were nuts. So it's been a roller coaster ride over the last 12 years, and you know, it's something that I have watched unfold, and that has taught me an immense amount about just reality, our true reality. You know, this reality that we're in is just really a smidget of what truly is. So let's get on to some of these vocals. And I'm going to start, I think, with this one that I actually recorded at home, which is very canine sounding, but Dwayne and I were at the cottage one visit, and it was on Saturday, midday, and we got this basically wolf, coyote type howl right outside the cottage wall that was so loud. We were sitting indoors when this happened. It was so loud, like our jaws were on the ground. It was just absolutely incredible. And they were showing us that they make these sounds, right? So I have activity going on at home, and I got this call, which is extremely obscure for where I live. Like when I put audio out back at home, I don't get this ever. So this, I am convinced, is a young Sasquatch that has been slowly showing his presence to me at home. That once more here. I've learned that they can create and recreate sounds as well as smells. So they can take a sound that they've heard and basically mimic it. And I'm talking a snowmobile engine. You know, they can make these sounds. It doesn't matter from my experience what it is. And it's the same with smells. They can take a smell and recreate it. I've had this shown to me over and over and over again. So, let me give you another vocal here. I played this one just earlier. This is the very first time that Neff said, called my name. I remember when I heard that, I was in my tent, and it was the next morning, I told Dwayne, I said, I think he called my name. And, you know, Dwayne said, what? I said, yeah, he called my name. You know, I was up in my tent. There's an incline there, so I'm running audio mics through my sunroof in my vehicle, and then, so you gotta kind of climb up a hill, and then my tent's kind of set back, so it's not very loud for me in my tent, but he's right at the, basically close to the vehicle, right? They know what our equipment does. They know what it all does. They know what cameras are, video cameras, audio, phones. They know how to manipulate all of it. It's very easy for them, as they've shown me over and over the years. I'm just going to go through a list here. So this was April 2014. And upon arrival, there was a single 16 or 17-inch footprint waiting for me, and then I got this vocal that night. It's a tabla.
I hear ya. Is that you, Ashantia? Oh? Who's that? It's my friend Nefertia. Oh no? Is that Ashantia? Oh, it's Nefertia. Hi, buddy. Yo. Yeah. I miss you, my friend. Ow.
So I don't think that was Neff, and he was basically telling me, no, I'm not Neff. I believe it was an older brother. Because of the footprint I got that visit, it was not Neff's, it was a bigger footprint, so I believe that was an older brother. This file here, to me it sounds like there is it's one of the Sasquatch, having a conversation with I don't know what. It's very electronic sounding, and midway through, the Sasquatch, he gives a little chuckle. It's like they're having a conversation. It's very bizarre. I've only experienced this kind of recording once. You can hear this is where he laughs. Yeah, it's very bizarre stuff. We would get, gotten about 10 names off of them. So one of them is Anastasia and another is Ashantia. The names are all over the place. There's Mushka, there's Omra, one that looked like it was spelled like Ugrath. I don't know if that's how you say it. So the names have been kind of all over the place. This vocal here, I would get up near the front door of the cottage, and it was one of the little girls basically vocalizing, trying to sound like a door squeak. When the door opens, it's got a squeak sound to it, and so she would try and mimic, or make us think it was that. She knows we're being recorded, right? So I think it's this file where she vocalizes before the door gets open, so it's easy to tell that, it's not the door. So she does that before the door opens. I think this is another one here. And then we come out. So they have a lot of humor. It's very consistent, the humor that, the chair that I sit on in the kitchen, it has this cushion with these little round divots in it. And I don't know how many times Ninyanen's gotten me, but he fills them up with water. And I go to sit down, and I check now, but he's gotten me a few times. Our things, our last visit, which was last weekend, I'm sitting at the table, and Dwayne had, I'd made some homemade pickles. Dwayne had taken some to work, and he went to eat his lunch. Pickles were gone. So I thought, oh, okay, they like my pickles. So I brought some last visit, left them on a plate on the counter. They didn't touch them, except one disappeared. And I'm sitting at the table. I got a beer can in front of me. I turn my head literally for about 2 seconds, turn back, I take a drink, and suddenly my beer tastes funny. And I cut it open. There's a bunch of 3 or 4 chunks of pickle in there. And it happened just like that. So they're not dropping them in through the top. They're moving it in. You know, there are no walls with Sasquatch. They can move through space. Like, none of this really exists in their realm, I guess. I'm not sure how it all works, but the humor with them is constant. You know, I've gotten stuff put in my shoes or piles of leaves in my bag. You know, the stories are endless. So this one here, I believe this one is, there was activity going on outside. Dwayne was indoors, so I went inside to get him. He comes outside, standing on the deck, and he lights a cigarette. And I believe he says, "Can you talk while I'm out here?" And then Neff vocalizes my name. He's right there beside us. We can't see him, right?
Put one recorder right there, okay?
Yeah. Can you talk while I'm out here? Right.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yes, my friend. That's a who.
Where are you, bud?
That's a who. That's a Tia. My brother.
Play that once more, just
Can you talk while I'm out here? Right.
Yes.
Holy shit.
so you can hear how close he is to us. He's right there. And this is consistent. This is every visit. It was last winter I actually asked for a hug, and I got hugged from behind. You know, it was brief, but while I was standing outside. I remember the first time I said to Dwayne, there was some footprints in the snow on the ground, and they didn't make any sense. They didn't go anywhere. And I said, I think they're invisible. And, you know, he thought I was nuts. And sure enough, you know, this is what we've learned over the years. We get a lot of very abrupt vocals. They're very abrupt in their contact and in showing their presence. Things usually, it's like that. They happen quickly, right? And they're done. So they'll do short little vocals to just, you know, show their presence, basically. You can really hear the depth in his lung capacity. He's got a deep voice. This one here Dwayne and I had gone outside, I'm checking the batteries on my recorder in my vehicle, and Dwayne asks what I'm doing. And he realizes, you know, kind of it was a stupid question, because he knew what I was doing. And as soon as he realizes that, you hear, duh, you know, that's Nin Yan, and kind of making fun of him, right?
What we doing?
Just checking the battery, brother.
How you doing that? Oh, see if it's stolen. Yeah. Oh, I got it back.
All right, it's
Stolen. Yeah. How you doing that? Oh, see if it's stolen. Yeah.
So, always making fun of us, you know, they're right there beside us, and this is consistent. This is every visit. You know, they, like I said, 12 years now, I haven't had a good visual. Dwayne has finally, and it's, if anybody hasn't gone to my YouTube channel and seen my stuff, there are headshots. There's 2 headshots of Neff. I get a lot of flack from those. People think they're Halloween masks or whatever. It's a real deal. You know, I implore anyone to search the internet, search the world, try and find 2 different masks that fit, you know, those headshots. They're perfectly clear. You stand behind the fence. They were taken in December 2019, and I had said the next visit when we went there, I said, like, I've developed written communication, so I'll ask questions out loud and then I'll write them down. And I said, do you want those put in the video for the world to see? And they wrote not yet, so I dropped it. At one point, I bring a point and shoot camera, I leave it on the table. They put images on it. They've given dozens of images over the years. When it first started, they were putting eyeball shots and just weird, I don't know what it is, right? I just know that they're responsible for doing that. I took a lot of ridicule over that too, and the vocals, and that's something that's, when you put stuff out at this level, it really, it's a challenge dealing with the human side of things, let me tell you. But when they started putting the images on, so at one point, I got these images put on my camera that were, I could tell, were from the photographs that Dwayne had taken. And when those shots were taken, he did not see him. He only heard him. He heard a vocalization. He pointed his phone, and he took a second shot a few seconds later. And then when he went in the house, he zoomed in, and he saw that's when he saw that and contacted me. So at one point, they had imposed these photos onto my camera, which I knew came from those, and they were blurred and close up. And I'd asked them, I thought, oh, maybe these are to put out. And I asked them, you know, can I share these? And they wrote no. So I did not share them. I don't go against their wishes, because I want this for the rest of my life, right? So I respect, you know, I hold my integrity in what they, you know, ask or do or not want me to do. I think that was a test to see if I would listen or not. I'm not sure, but so at another point, they did that again, and this was just before I put the headshots out. So they had imposed or given a close-up, basically a selfie, which was from one of those photographs, and I knew it was from one of those shots. I thought, oh, am I allowed to share this? And that's when I had gotten that 16-inch cast. It was the same visit. So Neff had given that cast, I believe it was that same visit. He gave oh, sorry, no, it wasn't that cast. It was another footprint. it was the last chance of the year for, to get with snow in the ground. Snow was gone by next visit. So he gave me a footprint, and then that night gave me that selfie, and I asked them, can I share this? And they said yes, and I was surprised. I expected no. So I put it out there. And it was shortly after that I was told by them, Mike, you show. And it had to do with those headshots. So I sat on them for almost 3.5 years. So they were taken back in 2019, and I just let it go, and almost 3.5 years later, I guess, they know the time, right? Their timing, everything has a time and a place, I guess, so. Get on to another vocal here. I'm not sure what this one is, I can't remember, sorry, but this is February 21st, 2015.
Hey Nick, how you doing, buddy? See that? Yes, my friend. Yeah, the who? Yes, my friend, he's in the cottage. Beth? Yeah? What are you saying, my friend? Man, I love you, buddy. I love you, man. Oh, I love to hear your voice. Anastasia? That's sister. You're saying bad, I don't know what that's. I'm glad you're speaking with me, man. I miss you, buddy. It's been a while. Where's your sister, my friend? Who?
This is very rare stuff, to have verbal communication with the Sasquatch. They have been very giving. This is when vocals basically, they started up in May 2013, the very beginning of May. So this is the end of May, but it was about 8 months in. We were visiting basically every weekend, and I knew from the first night that they had a presence on the property, but it was about 8 months before they really started in with the vocals. And none of this is by chance, it's all being given on purpose. They know I'm recording, they're giving this knowing that it's going to be put out publicly. They know what's going on. They know more about what's going on in this world than we do, as far as this system, what's going on with the earth, what's going on with the human race. They are more informed than we are. So I get a lot of stick breaks and bangs and rock clacks. So this is just a example. was a wood knock in the distance, followed by a close bang. This one is two individuals, an older male and a young female, speaking simultaneously. This has been cleaned up. Somebody did this for me. I wish I knew what software they used because they did a fantastic job. I don't think this is Neff speaking, but I'm not sure. And then the young female as well. There's some really bizarre sounds going on with his voice there. I'll play that once more. He's speaking language there. I don't know what language. They did write down that they understand all language, and they wrote a name down. I don't have that offhand, but they wrote a name down that I haven't been able to find any information on, of a language that they speak specifically there. That's their home area. It's likely a different name than what we might know it as, but there's been things said over the years, people thinking Nefati is retarded, stuff like that, and it's not that. It's just their behavior. They're childlike in their antics, and when he wants to talk and just be normal, that's not a problem. This was June 2013. This is the same visit. This vocal happened about 5:30 a.m. This was after an incredible night of vocals and activity. And there's been a lot of accusations over the years that Dwayne's the voice of Neff. And when you listen to something like this, it's easy to dismiss that. Crazy fun. This is another vocal, same night. See, we're oblivious to his presence. That's Neff doing that right there. No, do that. So that was, like I said, 4:15 in the morning. We're walking around the vehicle area. It records all the sounds around us. Neff knows that I'm recording, and so he gives that vocal knowing I'm going to play it back and hear it later. So that a piece of audio that I played earlier where Ninyanen went, duh. This piece here is like a little chuckle that, this is just last weekend. So again, we're standing outside. We went last week, I cleaned up the leaves, doing leaf blowing at Dwayne's cottage, and so we're out later on at night. It's dead still, which there's a lot of out there. So we're having a conversation, we're talking, and at one point, I can't remember what Dwayne said, but right after it, there's like a, or some little chuckle thing, and that's not us. That's Ninyana. This is just last week.
Wow, it's really still, eh?
I feel like it's all fucking day.
That was like great for leaf blowing.
Yeah, but how can you have it like this? It was like this afternoon too.
It's like a perfect leaf blowing day.
How can you have no wind at all?
It happens often up here.
All the time.
Right there.
Unless it's a storm, but
I get it at home too.
all the time. Unless it's
Right beside us, Don't even know he's there. This was, things had gotten a little rocky at one point back in 2015, and they knew that I would be gone for a while, that the plug would be pulled on the visits to the cottage. So they left me with this gift, and at the end, I'm having a conversation here, or some verbal interaction, but at the end of it, I was having an allergy attack that night too, so at the very end of it, he basically mimics that, saying achoo, but he says, we love you, which was very, absolutely mind-blowing at the time. You, my friend. I miss you, my friend. Who? Favorite pieces. This was when the vocals first started up. This was a distant call. This is one of my favorites too. It's short but sweet. happened about 5 minutes later. This one here was the end of May. It's just it says vocal 3 something in the morning, I think. On their vocals, they vocalize on both the inhale and the exhale, with a velocity that is beyond human. This is the same night. This is 4:15 a.m. The other was 3:41 in the morning, so this is about 35 minutes later, roughly. Just one sec. I'm going to back that up just a few seconds. I think that's the first time they said flower. It's a word that I would say. Neff, when he first started saying that, he loved it. Flower and tree. He just loved those words, and I think this was the very first time they said flower. You can kind of just make it out here, right here. This is, it's a distant vocal. This was just last weekend, as well as that earlier kind of chuckle from Nin Yan, and this was Neff. I had gone outside to check on the battery status on my audio recorder. You can just hear him. It's distant though. But again, this is last Saturday. Yeah. Yeah. And it was a strange one because Dwayne was indoors. He had music going, and his voice was so distant there, but Dwayne heard it. So I don't understand that. Like I said, there's a lot of things that we don't understand in dealing with this, how they do what they do, and there's a lot of telepathy involved, and 2021.
I should have filmed that. Yo!
Oh,
Did you film that?
that's Neff.
Film that. Yo!
Oh,
Did you film that?
that's Neff. That's Neff. Is that Neff or? Almost sounded like another one.
Did you film that thing over here?
So we're basically walking around the snow looking for prints. Prints will appear right beside us when there is none. You know, you'll turn your head for 2 seconds and then look back and suddenly there's a footprint. This is common. Like I said, there was a lot of fear in the beginning. Dwayne had a lot of fear, I had a lot of fear. And I remember I used to go up into the woods to do battery change at 2 o'clock in the morning. He would never come with me, so I always had to go up there by myself. And sometimes I get rock clacks or a wood knock, and I would know that they were there. You know, I was very nervous doing it, but I pushed through it. You can tell from that audio file, obviously, that you know, the fear's gone, right? Didn't even faze Dwayne there. This is says Neff Yell. He actually said the word fun there, so you know, he's just having a good time, and you could hear the inhale exhale on his vocalizations there. This one here, I believe they're playing with the windsock over top of the microphones. So there's a young one, and then there's Neff, and I think it's, if this is the right one, I think it sounds like he's kind of giving shit to the young one for messing with my stuff.
Ooh.
It gives a good yell here.
Jump up, jump. Go! Yeah. There. Go. There. Take that out. Ah. Oh. There. Oh.
You know, some of the dialects that I hear coming out of them, some of it sounds Asian, some of it even sounds Russian, you know, when they're saying words like da. It's,
Sounds
you know.
native, some of it.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Like in
And,
Shawnee.
yeah. We used to, at the beginning, we used to run a live microphone outside. We put a mic stand and run it through the stereo indoors so we could have a pair of ears outside in real time. And Neff would go up to the mic and do this. This one's a bit scratchy, but he actually says, Sasquatch says, yeah. They know what we call them. Just, again, some more stick breaks, and I get a lot of this. Sometimes I get 6 hours of that straight, basically. It's over and over. We've had many trees go, or not many, but a number of trees go over the years. This one, I was by myself when this happened.
I think my friends just pushed the tree over.
It was about 10:30 at night on a dead still night. As you can tell, I've built up an extensive library of audio recordings over the years. This one's labeled Sasquatch Talk. So I'll just, I got two more files here. Actually, there's a few more, but getting low on time here, so I'll play you one of my favorite ones from over the years. It's about a 3-minute file. It's very clear, and like I said, this is one of my favorites.
What? Yeah, yeah. Ooh, flower. Tree.
Here's my ringtone.
Mike. Mike.
That's funny.
Mike.
I've had it for years.
That's awesome.
Robert. You. Mike. Go. You are two, three, one, two, three, zero, you, five.
So, these are just a bunch of files I threw together for today. Again, I have a very extensive library of their sounds, their vocals from a dozen years of interacting. This is all from the same family. Is there anybody have any questions?
Where did we start?
Yeah, go ahead, back there.
Sadly, we walked in after you started, so, I'm sorry to make you repeat yourself, but, am I understanding that you're out with them, you're capturing them on audio, but you're not seeing them?
Yeah, there's been visuals. Me, I've barely had a glimpse. They are basically invisible. Much of the activity goes on indoors. So there's physical contact, there's been all kinds of incidents of physical contact. The first time I got basically pat in the top of the head. And I actually had my video camera running when that happened, so my reaction is caught, right? So, yeah, they are not, they're safe this way, right? It's a place that they stay to keep safe from humans and other non-humans that do not want them around. There's a war on human consciousness, so they're a big threat, against the bad side, the dark side. Anybody else?
Do you know why they chose that spot to live there? And what has been your favorite experience with them?
From my understanding, that's basically their home base. It's the Kawartha Lakes region, so it's a beautiful area. It's land of lakes. There's all kinds of woods there and flora and fauna. Sasquatch activity can be found practically anywhere, really. Once you connect to them and you understand, then you realize how prevalent they are. I can find Sasquatch activity easier than I can find a bear, basically at this point, right? So, as far as picking that area, if there's any other specifics about that, I don't know, but as far as a favorite experience, that is so hard to really answer because I've had well over 1,000 encounter incidents at this point, right? So, like I said, there's a lot of humor involved. I always enjoy the physical contact. Getting hugged from behind last winter was pretty wild. I never get tired of getting marbles, so we get marbles basically dropped out of thin air. So I guess one of my favorites would be they allowed me to see the moment of a marble being pushed through empty space. So say it was basically arm's length. right in front of my face. They knew where I was looking, and they did it slowly. And they pushed it through. It was like looked like a wormhole. And I saw this marble start to appear, and they did it slowly, and it popped through and dropped to the floor. They did it the next visit, again, the same thing, but I was bent over putting my shoes on, and they did it in that space there. So, you know, being witness to that, we see these marbles come out of thin air all the time, but never that moment where they break through the veil, right? So I got to witness that a couple times. Dwayne's pretty much seen it too, you know. I remember one visit, we're sitting at the table, you know, he's showing me something on his phone, holding it up. They basically made a marble appear at the top of his phone, rolled down his phone, and, you know, dropped to the floor, right? So it's, yeah, witnessing the marble come out of thin air was pretty wild. Yeah,
I have so many questions.
it's all good.
So where do you start? Okay, so obviously they're feeling comfortable with you. They're giving you different, am I right in assuming they're giving you different vocals? They're trying to communicate using English language. And are they, like, I think about these, like, what is it, Expedition Bigfoot and that, and they're out there and they're seeing similar stuff, really. They're questioning, it appears that way, but the vocals are pretty similar in those episodes. And have you cleared a different barrier? Well, obviously you've cleared a different barrier, but is that because they're feeling more comfortable with you, that they want to interact more?
Yeah, when I went in there, I think there was purpose with this situation. When the information first came to me about activity on a property, you know, I had never met Dwayne, I hadn't talked to him yet,
Okay.
and the information came through somebody else. I had a knowing at the time, like, this is it, this is what I'm waiting for,
Okay.
this is what I'm looking for. I hadn't even been there yet, and I knew, so I'm pretty sure there was purpose
So
behind
there's
this.
more and more communication with you, and obviously more comfort. And
Yeah.
then would another family be different then again? Do you think that they, knowing what you know now and verbalizing your understanding, do you think that you would get the same reaction from another one? And then are there different breeds? Are there, you know, I'd say breeds, but you know what I mean? Like, is the Yeti the same personality, if you like, than the Sasquatch of North America, which is maybe different than the one in the South? Like,
I've asked them, they are people, right? They have names like we do.
Right.
I've asked them, this was more recent too, that because of those headshots, Neff's nose is very unique looking.
Mhm.
So I asked them the question, do you have different races like humans? They said yes.
Okay.
So they vary, from my understanding, as greatly as we do as humans, right?
Okay.
Because, like I said, they are a people.
Now, would there also then be a difference in their behavior as far as, I mean, you hear of the potential of them being very dangerous, and then other people say they're not. So is it a matter of if they felt threatened, or is it more territorial, or is it?
There's a lot of, I think a lot of misconceptions out there. There's a lot of assumptions with
Yeah.
people that have never had contact. Most people
Right.
haven't had contact, right? So I've learned that I've never had any malevolence shown to me, and I've had activity in multiple locations. I get activity at home.
Okay.
It's what the situation with Neff's family is very developed.
Mhm.
Like, I've had stuff going on at home for years. They showed, 5 years now, they showed their presence the second day I moved in. I don't know if that was Neff's family, but I know there's a different family where I live, and it's nowhere near as developed, but they know I have that contact. I went up with Nick here to up north to a new location, Tyler's cabin there, and our very first visit, they gave him a visual at the window that night.
Yeah.
And Tyler, the property owner, who has a 15 years in law enforcement, you know, he's very credible. he'd never experienced Sasquatch activity there. You know, I go up there, the three of us, and first night, you know, the Sasquatch are showing their presence. I got woken up with a telepathic vocalization. We found a structure behind the property, a big structure that was built. You know, we had a freaking UFO sighting. We called in through meditation there too. But
Well, I was gonna say, is that commonplace too, that you would see more activity, UFO type activity around, and then have more interaction at that time too?
I don't.
There's a lot of UFO activity around where we live, and we see and capture quite a bit compared to a lot of people. Mind you, we kind of watch the skies too, but I'm just wondering if you often see the two correlation.
They're definitely connected. You know, their understanding of consciousness, it's like I said, it's incomprehensible. So they would know of each other, and yeah, there's definitely a connection.
And what about the orbs that tend to?
It's all connected.
It's all connected.
Yeah, we've had quite a bit of orb activity happen at the cottage, both indoors and out. We witnessed some pretty incredible orb stuff.
So this particular alien has a well-known name, essentially, then, right? Like calling Sasquatch or Bigfoot, or can you refer? Will you say that she actually is alien?
No, actually, I've asked them, where do you come from? Where do your people come from? They wrote home here always.
Awesome. Okay.
Earth
That's
is
cool.
their home.
Okay. So they're not alien.
No,
They may
their
be
activity
alien, right?
seems alien, definitely, because it's so
advanced.
unlike anything else, you know.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Story.
Nick? It's all good. We can get back. I just want to spread it out.
What's with the Y sticks that are being given out?
That I don't understand. I don't know. I even got a hand woven Y stick gift from Neff's family at one point, right? My friend Sonia, who's no longer with us, sadly, she actually mentioned in one of her recent interviews about Y sticks as well. So that, I don't know what that is. I get a lot of, when I ask questions, they'll give me a Y as in response, like saying yes. There's that. I don't know if it's all related to, an affirmation. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Did you get telepathic message before you actually heard their voices? Like telepathic for a while and then you heard their voices?
No, it was, they were very gentle in leading up to it, even though they're also very blatant. They're one extreme to the next. They're very subtle for the most part. But telepathy is something, mind speak. I've even had wood knocks, telepathic wood knocks from it. It's just something that happens periodic. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no consistency with it, except that it, happens again and again, but you never know when, right? And it's not like they didn't start with anything like that. It just something that's happened throughout the years. Anybody else? You have more questions? You good?
Did Neff name himself, or did you name him?
No, I didn't. We knew they were there, right? So I would pat my chest and say, Mike.
Okay.
Mike. And I would even go like, Mike.
Okay.
Just show him how to pronounce my name. And one day, he went up by the audio recorder and he said, Mike Dwayne Nefatia. So he knew I was asking for his name.
Jesus.
Wow.
Cool.
Oh, and before we knew his name, we used to call him Mr. Funny.
Mr. Funny?
Yeah. That's what, before things,
And do the animals react? Is there any animals around, like any dogs or cats or anything that around your friend Dwayne's cottage, or do you ever take any there?
Dwayne's dad used to be there with with his little, I can't remember what dog, maybe a Shih Tzu or something like that. He had his dog there. He was there for many of the visits, right? And the dog would react sometimes. It would almost be like, get his tail tugged or something, and he'd turn around. I remember seeing that once. Dwayne's dog was, I remember there one visit, he'd come out with this, I think, brand new big rawhide bone, and Dwayne had no idea where that came from. It was like they gifted him. But there's no fear shown from any of the animals.
I was wondering, like, even about, I could hear the birds chirping in one of your,
It was 5:30 in the morning, yeah.
yeah, and they didn't seem to be, they were chirping. Yet, around my place, I could have lots of bears around, and they'll come in and things are either very quiet or they're very, like, everybody's telling everybody the bear's there. And the chipmunks and the squirrels are yapping, everybody's frantic that the bear is there. So, but you didn't hear too much of a change with the birds in that audio.
No, that was the forest coming to life in the morning.
Yeah.
There's been incidents where, all of a sudden a red squirrel's going off and that sort of thing, right? So,
Yeah.
just showing that they're aware of a presence.
Right.
Anyways, I appreciate everybody coming down and thanks for showing up. I hope you enjoyed that. And like I said, thank you. And go on, check out my YouTube channel, Sasquatch Ontario. There's a lot of stuff on there. It's, there's so much to share, right? So it's, if you go on there and check that out, some good stuff. Thank you very much.